the name of Jesus.
As many as 10,000 believers have come to Fort Worth for the Believers Convention. It's sponsored by the Kenneth Copeland Ministries. There are visitors from all 50 states and from a dozen foreign countries as well. The parking lot of the Tarrant County Convention Center has become a small village, and the inhabitants have one thing in common. They believe.
We came from Ohio for this. We came to get what's here. It's vital.
Did you ever think you'd be spending your vacation in Fort Worth, Texas?
No, not really.
They're hungry for the Word, and the world is hungry for the Word, and this is where they get it.
This year's live coverage is expected to reach 1 million people or more, but some conventioneers don't think watching it on television could compare. As one very enthusiastic listener put it, coming to Fort Worth for this event is probably the next best thing to going to heaven.
There is a place every heart longs for. Not simply a destination, but a place where faith awakens, where heaven feels near, where hope is restored. Home. There's something special about coming home. Not because the house looks the same, but because the moment you arrive, you remember who you are. You remember the moments that changed you, the voices that encouraged you, the people who walked beside you. And even after all this time, it still feels familiar. Our home is where faith is strengthened, where hope is restored, where hearts are reminded that God's promises still stand, where generations come together around His Word, where faith fills the atmosphere. There is a reason we tell the stories, a reason we remember the moments, the breakthrough, the healing, the unexpected provision. Today, we become part of that same story. Not beginning something new, but stepping into something eternal. This is more than another convention. This is more than another gathering. This is a homecoming.
Well, stand to your feet, everybody.
tell you, wish I could describe it, but I can't contain it, can't keep it to myself. There's not enough colors to paint the whole picture. There's not enough words to ever say what I found. Wonderful and beautiful and glorious, holy He is the merciful and the powerful. Who we talking about? That's my King. Hey, we declare your glory, give Him all the honor, all together worthy. Who we talking about? That's my King. There's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who we talking about? That's my King. That's my King. Oh, yes, He is. Yeah. Not letting the rocks cry without joining the chorus. Not enough notes to make the harmony. It's the song of the angels, through all of the ages, and all of the earth and heaven symphony. Declare, wonderful and beautiful and glorious, holy He is merciful. Shout it out, who we talking about? That's my King, yeah. We declare your glory, yeah. All together worthy. Who we talking about? Hey, there's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who we talking about? That's my King. That's my King. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Hey, that's my King. That's my God. That's my shepherd, my protector. That's my King. That's my rock. That's my anchor, my defender. That's my King. That's my King. Yes, it is. My protector. That's my King. Hey, yes, He is. Yeah. Yes, He is. Yeah. Yes, He is. Yeah. Ooh, yeah. We declare your glory. Give Him all the honor. All together worthy. Who we talking about? We declare your glory. Give Him all the honor. All together worthy. Hey, who we talking about? There's no one before you. Yes, we will adore you. All of this is for you. Who we talking about? That's who we talking about. Who we talking about? Who we talking about? King of kings, Lord of lords, oh my Savior. Yes, He is. Yes, He is. That's my King.
But come on, church. Can we give Him all the honor? Can we give Him all our praise? We'll give you the honor. Hallelujah. We'll give you all the honor. We'll come right now with a heart posture, with your hands raised if you're comfortable tonight. Jesus, we give you the honor. We know that there's no other name that measures up to the name of Jesus. From beginning to the end, we know that your name stands. We give you the honor. You were the word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. And nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of my Jesus. But your love was great, your love was greater. So what could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a wonderful name. Tonight, oh, what a wonderful name it is, the name of Jesus. Oh, I know that there's no other name. There's no other name like Jesus. I'm calling on your name. Tonight, can we give a cry out to Jesus? Whatever you came in with those doors, remember that you can lay it at the feet of Jesus tonight. Oh, Jesus, I give it to you. I surrender. And death could not hold you. The veil tore before you. You silenced the boast of sin. In the heavens are roaring the praise of your glory, for you are reign to life. Oh, come on, you have no rival, 'cause you have no rival, and you have no equal, now and forever, God, you reign. Yours is the kingdom. powerful name it is, the name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is, the name of Jesus. What a powerful name. Shout Jesus from the mountain, and Jesus in the street, and Jesus in the darkness over every hill. Come on. And Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name of Jesus. Come on, declare that tonight. Shout Jesus from the mountain, Jesus in the street, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy. Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name of Jesus. Oh, come on, one more time. Shout Jesus from the mountain, Jesus in the street, and Jesus in the darkness over every enemy. Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name, Jesus. Give him praise, give him honor.
Come on, one more time. Can you say his name, Jesus? Bless you, Lord. Bless you, Lord Jesus. Everything changed. It's getting harder to recognize the person I was before I encountered Christ. I don't walk like I used to. I don't talk like I used to. I've been washed from the inside. I've been washed from the inside. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I know it was the blood. Could have only been the blood. Hallelujah.
exaltation, and I was born to lift the name above all names. You hear the melody of all creation, but there's a song of praise that only I can bring. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. You are the infinite God of the ages. Yet you chose to make my heart your dwelling place. You healed my brokenness, showed me your glory. So I have songs of thanks, not even angels sing. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Who else is worthy? Who else is worthy? There is no one, only you, Jesus. Only you, Lord. Only you are worthy. Only you are worthy. Thank you, Lord. Lamb of God, anointed one, who was and needs to come, seated on the throne above. Holy, holy, righteous one who shed his blood. You proved to us the Father's love. Jesus Christ, be lifted up. Holy, holy, Lamb of God, who was and needs, seated on the throne. Holy, righteous one, you proved to us. Jesus Christ, be lifted up. Who else is worthy? Oh, there's only you. There is no one, only you. Who else is worthy? There's only you, Lord. There is no one, only you. There is none. There is no one.
Well, shout amen, somebody. Praise God. Shake hands with at least 3 people and say, thank God for the word. And you can be seated. I got done with the music business and all that mess. And I soloed at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in 1961. And that was in August. September, October. I met the love of my life. Praise God. Next April will be 65 years. Oh, hallelujah. Whoa, praise God. 1981, this building was finished in 1968. And so in 1981, the first Southwest Believers Convention took place. Now, they want us out of here Saturday just as fast as they can get us out of here because they're going to finish tearing this place down. Amen. Can you imagine all of the word and the gospel that's gone out all over the world in 46 years? Wow. All right. Total registered. Main registry at 563 includes 800 pastors, ministries, or churches. 1440 registered 463. Super Kids 370. States registered including 50. Glory to God. Total U.S. territories checked in. Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands, 41 now. Afghanistan, Algeria, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Faroe Islands, France, Germany, Ghana, Greece, Honduras, Hungary, India, Kenya, Latvia, Luxembourg, Mexico, New Zealand, Nigeria, Pakistan, Peru, Republic of South Korea, Singapore, South Africa, Suriname, Sweden, the Netherlands, the Philippines, U.S. Virgin Islands, Ukraine, United Arab Emirates, United Kingdom, United States of America, and USA, Emira Outlying Islands, and Venezuela. Hallelujah. And we're just getting started. Amen. Now, 2026 Southwest Believers Convention, Super Kid Academy, Tuesday. Psalm 78:4, we will not hide these truths from our children. We will tell the next generation about the glorious needs of the Lord, about his power and his mighty wonders. Attendance in the evening, 223. Tuesday morning, 213. Tuesday afternoon, 249. The summary. Last night in Super Kids, listen to this now. Last night in Super Kids, 223 children were in attendance. The message was based on Matthew 4:18 through 20, focusing on Jesus calling his disciples to follow him. The children were encouraged to understand that Jesus still calls people today, and that following him is the greatest decision they can ever make. The highlight of the evening came during the altar call when 50 children responded to receive Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. Yeah. Tuesday morning, 213 children attended and received an amazing message from Jenny, my granddaughter, Papa. What's her name? Jenny Papapostolou. And when I married her, I practiced and practiced and practiced. When I married Jenny Papapostolou. I get it. Papa. I'm just kidding you. But I did have to work on it. Papa, well, now. Fooled around there and lost my place. Praise God. Now, let's see here. In 1440, Pastor Russell Johnson, 297 students in attendance. Russell Johnson delivered a fiery, anointed message about God we serve and how to remain on fire for Him. He challenged students to put their faith in the Word of God and trust what the Lord is speaking, regardless of their emotions, their circumstances that they may see in the natural. Using the story of the road to Emmaus, Russell shared the powerful concept of praying a simple prayer. And you make that to pray a simple prayer. The biggest, largest failure in good people, good Christian people, is a prayer failure. Either not knowing what sort of prayer to pray when. Brother Hagin put it like this. He said, you can't play football with baseball rules. But the prayer of faith is one prayer. The prayer of dedication is another. The prayer of petition is another. But all of it has to be backed in faith. So this is a powerful thing, and I'm glad they're learning that. So, yeah, Joe Navarro spoke to students about using their platform influence to honor God. He encouraged them to boldly share Jesus with others and to spread the love of God wherever they go. And every follower of Christ has the opportunity to make an impact in God's kingdom. And this is important. Now then, we've had our faith set for a long time about going over the budget. But this, in this final condition, this final convention here, if we go $5 million over this budget, and there's already, well, we're already pushing $2 million right now that's come in. But $6 million over the budget will help us meet our operation budget and launch Copeland University. Now, when I was flying in that night, and I heard it audibly, sound like a radio broadcaster, coming to you from the revival capital of the world. And then sometime later, our board of directors, Dane Adams, came in, and he said, Ken, there's a piece of property out here in northwestern town I think you ought to look at. Well, then I knew what it was. It was an abandoned air base. It was a naval air base operated by the Marine Corps. But it was in shambles. And I walked through there, and I heard it, this is the revival capital of the world, you're going to build it. I thought, what on earth with? And then it began to develop it. and continued to develop a little over 1,500 acres of land. And comes to find out that God had already planned. He'd already said this to me more than once. I want this non-compromised message of faith preached from the top of the world to the bottom and all the way around the middle. And we've done that. But here's the thing. A major university, full-scale university, that also has schools of trade. Schools of trade, plumbing, carpentry, coupled with the architect department. And it's been coming together all of these years. But this is a major, over 1,500 acres of land. And it's all come together. And the things that we saw in the early days is one step at a time coming to pass. And we can set up right now before we leave this convention to launch it. Ah, come on. Is that guy Phil Driscoll around here anymore? Did he go home? Come here.
You know I love this guy, right? You know that.
How long's it been?
Since we first met, 1981.
So we know how long that's been.
Right here, sitting right over there.
Yeah, praise God.
Fresh out of hell.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you something else. His autobiography, when will it be released?
Soon and very soon.
Now I'm not going to tell you another word about it, but you best better got you one. And everybody, write my story. It's in the final draft right now.
Oh yeah.
And in fact, you can pre-order it. Amen. And you can find out what a jerk I was until I met her. She fixed that. She and Jesus. Well, almost. No, really. And when?
I'm believing in the next 2.5, 3 months.
Oh, it is really good, too. Now, you really came loaded tonight, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You got this horn
Yes.
and this horn. And
I learned from you about backup.
yeah. Now, oh, Phil, look at this.
It's brand new, but it's a cornet.
Yeah, I saw it.
But it's heavier than most cornets, and it's got a deeper
Yeah, look at this.
tone. It's a little harder to play.
Yeah. Well, why don't you do what you do best?
Yes, sir. Thank you. You good? It's like a lot of Christians, they look like they're plugged in and turned on. But sometimes I was going to say that one of the most talented guys that I've ever met is playing the piano. His name is David Ellis. It's a great honor to be here tonight. When I prayed about what to do, I'm totally convinced that God's doing a new thing in the earth. I'm totally convinced that there are new sounds and songs coming, and they're here. But I wanted to do some that have withstood the test of time and been a blessing in my life. So here we go. Is it on? Oh, da, 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 da. Okay, now ready? Yeah. So you is still displayed. You can sing with me. Then sings my soul, my soul, my Savior God, to thee, only to thee, how great thou art. How great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior, my God, to thee, only to thee, how great thou art. Let me tell you, how great thou art. Majesty, we're gonna worship His majesty. Majesty, Lord, hold you, Jesus. Be all glory, honor, and praise. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee, only to thee, how great thou art. Come on, sing with me. How great thou art. Ooh, yeah. How great thou art. How great thou art. Majesty, worship your majesty. Lord, we worship you, majesty. And we say there's none like you. Psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. We can never allow ourselves to lose the hymns. They are vital. So here goes. alone. is still on the roses. And the voice I hear falling on my ear, the Son of God discloses. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy that we share as we tarry there. None other has ever known. Can you sing it? And he walks with me, and he tells me I am his own. And the joy that we share as we tarry there. None other has ever known. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me that I am his own. That's why he died. And the joy that we share as we tarry there. None other has ever known. Thank you, Lord. This is the first song I ever really recorded for Jesus. I didn't know about the spontaneous song of the Lord, but I knew I was sure glad to be out of hell. And we turned on the tape. It was tape back then. Didn't talk about the key. I just heard a little chorus that so penetrated my heart. Let's not make worship too hard. It's a simple thing. It's a beautiful thing.
Just like the morning sun. Jesus, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Jesus. What a wonder you are. Oh yes, oh yeah. Jesus, please sing
like the morning sun. Jesus, oh, I love to call you Jesus. Oh, what a wonder you are. And you keep on taking us higher, higher and higher. You shine, and it's shining in you, shining in me, like a morning sun, just like a morning sun. Jesus, what a wonder you are. Like the morning sun, Jesus. What a wonder you are. What a wonder. You know, Kenneth, I almost didn't do this, but I want to say for all of us, we thank you, sir, for teaching us how to walk by faith, for teaching us about the glory of the Lord, for filling our hearts with victory and joy that can never be taken away. We thank you and we salute you. Do you remember in 2 Chronicles where it said when the priests were in one accord, they began to sing, for the Lord is good and his mercy endures forever. Say it with me. For the Lord is good and his mercy endures forever. That then the house was filled with a cloud, and the glory of the Lord filled the place, so they could not stand to minister by reason of the cloud. Let's sing it. Come on, David. Mercy endures forever, forever, forever. Sing with me. For the Lord, he is good, and his mercy endures
Praise God. Yes, praise God. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. That's not stuff.
Come on, give the Lord the biggest praise. Thank you, brother.
Love you, Phil.
I love you. You got it.
Yes. Isn't that wonderful? Now, while we're waiting, and I was thinking back there, go ahead and sit down. And Jonathan, you here? I know you are. I'm just trying to find you. Come on.
Good to be with you.
And talking about prayer, when I read the final draft of Terry's book, An Encounter with Him, I laughed. I cried a little. And little things about prayer that are so important. She said, I walked into a store and I looked at the price tag on this dress and I said, dress, you can't talk to me like that. You can't talk to me like that. She kept believing God and she got the dress. But that book, An Encounter with Him, is just wonderful. So I strongly recommend it. And in my book, you're going to find out how she and my mother just ganged up on me and changed everything.
Amen.
And so Terry deals with the prayer, and it is, of casting everything over on the Lord. And she said my mother threw her Bible down and said, if he goes to hell, it's your fault.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. Gloria Jean got saved the next week, and I got saved the week after that.
That's great.
Yes. So you need to get that book. It'll help you. Jonathan?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever preached a message standing still?
I tried. I can't even talk on the phone standing still.
You remind me of you. And I was talking to a man one day. He said, I know you. You're that walking preacher.
Yeah.
It's a joy and a great privilege to have you deliver the word.
The privilege is all mine. Thank you so much for opening the door for me. I really appreciate it.
You are more than welcome. Love you, man.
It's very hard on me to be out-handsomed by someone that's almost 90 years old, I gotta say.
Say it again.
It's hard
Say it
on me.
again.
I'll say it. Nice job.
Father, in the name of the Lord Jesus, you said, go preach my word. Preach them. And when this gospel of the kingdom has been preached to all nations with a witness, then the end will come.
That's what it says.
And so we all doing our best to get it done.
Yes, sir.
Love you, man.
I love you. Thanks for changing my life. Appreciate you.
Really?
Your books, yeah. Everybody in Bible school said that you can't make it. Then I read your book and found out you can make it, so I tried your way.
Praise. Woo, praise the Lord.
God bless you.
Thank you.
A nice hand clap for Brother Copeland, everybody. Praise the Lord. Give Jesus a great hand clap. My daughter and I just got back from a trip to Europe, and she had 2 suitcases. I loaded the first one in, it weighed like 60 pounds. Then I got ready to load the second one, and it was the lightest thing I ever lifted. I said, what's in this one? She said, nothing. I said, then why are you taking it? She said, for whatever you're going to get me. And I pray you came with an empty suitcase tonight, and Jesus is going to fill it for you. Can you say amen? Why don't you lift your hands wherever you're at? Father, I thank you for this great night. We feel your presence in here so strongly. And I thank you that your word says where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty and freedom. I pray there wouldn't be one or two. I pray many people would have cancer burned out of their body tonight while the word of God's preached. Let total turnarounds take place in every family. I pray for everybody that's in this place that they're the only person in their family that's serving the Lord. I pray by the end of August, there wouldn't be one person outside of the kingdom of God. As your wind is blowing in America, oh Lord, let us catch it tonight and run. I pray the final 5 months of this year, from now through December 31st, that there would be many people that would see you do more in the next 5 months than in the last 10 years put together. I thank you for this great crowd that's here. I pray there'd be many churches represented by pastors that this will be their normal Sunday morning in the next 2 years. In Jesus' name, we thank you for it. We give you all the praise, all the honor, and all the glory, for it's to you and you alone who it's due. In Jesus' name, if you receive that tonight, give the Lord another great hand clap and a mighty shout. Somebody shout hallelujah. I want you, if you have your Bibles, to open it with me to Deuteronomy 28, 47 to 55. Deuteronomy 28, 47 to 55. And as you're turning there, my key scripture is going to be Hebrews 11, 33. If they'd pop that up, I'm going to read that first. Hebrews 11, 33. You know, Hebrews is the hall of faith, and it says all the awesome things that people did by faith. But this is the one I want to minister on tonight. Hebrews 11, 33, if they have it. Where the Bible says, by faith, in the New Living Translation, it says 33. By faith, they overthrew kingdoms. In the King James, by faith, they subdued kingdoms. New Living Translation, by faith, they overthrew kingdoms. So I want to talk to you tonight about the power that God releases when you release your faith to take a nation over. And I want to show you the importance of that happening, because for some people, I don't think they understand because they don't travel, that if you don't have revival in your nation, there's no middle ground. It's not like you're going to have either a demonic nation or a nation that's in revival, or you can have some, like they tried to sell us in the 1990s. You know, when I was going to high school, they made it sound like you can have like a secular society. Religion has its place, but ultimately you need a secular nation. There's no such thing as a secular nation. The Bible teaches there's light and darkness. And if the light goes out, the darkness moves in for free. But when the light turns on, darkness cannot wrestle with light. Light's triumph over darkness is instant and unquestionable. And that's what we're seeing in America right now. And that's what we're going to continue to see in Jesus' name. Can you say amen? Deuteronomy 28, verse 47. The Bible says, because you would not serve the Lord with joy and enthusiasm for the abundant benefits you've received, you will serve your enemies, from whom, obviously this is under the curse of the law, from whom the Lord will send against you. You'll be left hungry, thirsty, naked, and lacking in everything. The Lord will put an iron yoke on your neck, oppressing you harshly until he has destroyed you. The Lord will bring a distant nation against you from the end of the earth, and it will swoop down on you like a vulture. It's a nation whose language you don't understand, a fierce and heartless nation that shows no respect for the old and no pity for the young. Its armies will devour your livestock and crops, and you will be destroyed. Just wanted to open up with a few uplifting scriptures before we go on. A fierce and heartless nation that shows no respect for the old and no pity for the young. Its armies will devour your livestock and crops, and you'll be destroyed. They'll leave you no grain, no new wine, no olive oil, no calves, no lambs, and you'll starve to death. They will attack your cities until all the fortified walls in your land, the walls you trusted to protect you, are knocked down. They'll attack all the towns in the land that the Lord has given you. This siege and terrible distress of the enemy's attack will be so severe that you'll eat the flesh of your own sons and daughters. You didn't think it could get worse, but it's actually worse. Whom the Lord has given you. The most tender-hearted man among you will have no compassion for his own brother, his beloved wife, or his surviving children. He'll refuse to share with them the flesh he's devouring, the flesh of his own children, because he has nothing else to eat during that siege and terrible distress. And I'm not going to read any more verses, because if I did, I'd have to sell Valium at the product table and everybody eat it by the handful. You never thought the day would come where there would be Islamic jihadism in a country like Belgium or England or Northern Ireland, where you'd watch on the news 10 days ago an Irishman get his head cut off in broad daylight, and there'd basically be nothing done by the police, because without a shot being fired, nations that sent the gospel all over the world have been taken over by Islam and become an Islamic caliphate. And I'm going to have a positive message, but you can't go through life pretending like you don't have an enemy. Jesus defeated the devil, but every generation has to keep him under subjection to the word of God in their generation. Can you say amen? And so you saw that happen in England, where right now, think of this, in the United Arab Emirates, you have 13% of the United Arab Emirates go to church every week. In Canada in 1980, 45% of Canadians went to church at least once a month in Canada in 1980. It's at 8% right now. Northern Ireland is under 2%. United Arab Emirates is 13%. Nations like Nigeria and Ghana are through the roof with Christianity that had no Christian influence 150 years ago. So you cannot just allow, the Bible says in Judges chapter 2, there was Moses that walked with God. There were the descendants of Moses that knew God's power through Moses. And then a third generation came up that knew not God nor remembered his mighty works. And so the same devil that operates in Europe and UK and Canada has looked to do the same thing in this country. But something happened in this nation. I watched it happen. And in fact, I'm going to tell you something just to give you some background. Not that anybody necessarily cares, but I'm going to tell you just to give you some background on why I am the way I am. My dad has been an evangelist for 45 years. My grandfather was a pastor for 62 years before he went to heaven, and that was the first Christian in our family. And I grew up in a home. I hear all these preacher's kids that have complaints about how hard it was being a preacher's kid and all that stuff. I had a great life and still have a great life, but my mom and dad, I realize more every day. I took my dad 2 Christmases ago to Las Vegas, and I bought him so much stuff that my bank called and said, "We hate to inform you, your credit card's been stolen." I said, "No, it hasn't." And a thief wouldn't have spent as much as I spent on my dad. My dad said, "What are you spending all this money on me for?" I said, "I don't want to send flowers to your funeral. I want to say thank you now, because I realize now that I'm in my 40s that you gave me what a lot of kids didn't have. And that's what's going to come out of this meeting. Every battle you had to fight as a child, your children are never going to have to fight those battles, because it only takes one person in a family to say enough is enough. I'm going to see my household shaken by the power of God." If that sounds like you, can you shout amen like thunder? So one night, my mom sent me up to my room to change for bed, 790 Wheatland Circle in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. And I went up to the 3rd floor, bent over to pick my pajamas up. This is the only angel I've ever seen. I know some people, I was watching Christian television with my dad, and this lady said, "I go to heaven at least 9 times a day." And my dad said, "And they keep sending her back marked wrong address." So that's great if you get to go every day for 9 times. But I don't actually believe people like that. I believe, like when I heard Brother Jesse talk about heaven last night, and he starts getting choked up and crying. That's how you can tell somebody had a real, and what he said it was holy. That's how, when people say, "What was it like seeing an angel?" It was holy. That's what you know what I did? I quit talking and just stood still. It had the same feeling as when I was going to get paddled by my dad. I just quit talking. And I stopped, and the angel said, "Jonathan, God has reserved you for this last period of time to be an evangelist, to call men and women who are now in darkness into the light, for soon it will be eternally too late. Do you understand?" And I said, "Yes." Somebody said, "You should write a book on it." Hard to get a publisher to pick up a book that's going to be 3/4 of a page long. It ended right there. When I said yes with a speech impediment, that angel disappeared. And Brother Jesse and I were on Victory Channel, and they were asking us what the greatest miracle was that we ever saw, and we both had the same answer. Brother Jesse said, I am. He said, if you knew me before I was saved, you would know the greatest miracle is that I'm a Christian and that I'm serving the Lord. And I'm telling you what God did for me there. Because when that angel left, something stayed in my belly where it's like, I'm not trying to make myself like I'm hyper spiritual, because I'm not, but I'm telling you, like, I led all my friends to the neighborhood in the Lord, to the Lord within that year. I started telling them about Jesus and taking them to church. I just started thinking about God and heaven and eternity and stuff like that. And then I had a speech impediment. I had 8 sounds in the alphabet that I couldn't say correctly and had to miss recess twice a week to get speech therapy, and they never fixed one sound. You know, there's only 26 letters in the English alphabet. So when you can't say 8, that's not good. And I remember I was sitting outside the door when they called my mother in 5th grade and said, there's lots of jobs that your son can do that don't require speaking. So he'll have a speech impediment, but it's not a big deal. But that's why the Bible says in 1 Corinthians chapter 1 that God deliberately chose the things the world calls foolish in order to shame those that are powerful, that no man can glory in his presence. Every night I get up to preach, it's by the power of God, because without God changing my life, I couldn't even speak in private, let alone in public. And I say that so everybody from the back seat to the front knows, no matter what weakness you have, God's strength is made perfect in weakness. Can you say amen? 10 years old, I went, followed my dad was preaching at a Bible college called Zion Bible Institute in Providence. I was 10 or 11, and they gave an altar call at the end. I went up to pray. And as soon as my knee hit the floor, I felt the Lord speak to me. When you're old enough, this is the school to go to. And that was it. So then I went to school there. I had preached one time before I went to Bible college. On my way out the door, they let me preach one night at youth group. I was 17, and it was terrible. No one had to tell me it was terrible. It was halfway through the message, and I was looking for an exit to bail on my own message. And I asked my roommate to leave my dorm room. And I wanted to ask God something. It was like 10 days into school. I said, Father, crying, and they're not saying anything sad. Whatever that is, give me that, because I've been in enough boring services. I don't want to bore people and make them wish they were in another religion. If you're going to have me preach, you can't fake that. Give me whatever that thing is. The next day, that was Saturday night. Sunday morning, they had freshman chapel. It was at, Bible colleges are usually run by very old people, so everything starts very early in the morning because they've been up since like 4:30 using the restroom. So freshman chapel was like at 7:45 in the morning, which is not my time. So I'm standing there like just trying to find a way to go back to sleep but look like I'm worshiping. And as I'm standing there, this student, his name's Jesse Norwood, he pastors in Illinois now. He gave a message in tongues. So we were taught in Pentecostal church, somebody does that, you like act reverent. So I just stayed with my eyes kind of closed, just watching a little bit. And he turned around giving the message in tongues and pointed at me. And I was thinking, am I going to get rebuked for falling asleep or what? Because in Pentecostal church, anytime somebody had a word for you, it was negative. So I was thinking, what did I do? And he said, thus saith the Lord. Now, nobody heard me pray this. I was in a room by myself the night before. Thus saith the Lord, you have asked me for the anointing to preach, and now I give you the thing that you asked for. And I'm telling you, when he said that, I felt something slap me in the chest. And from that day, it's just there. Like the speaking, like the being able to speak, and then having an interest and a passion for God's word. Well, when I started out of Bible college and started preaching, there was something that started in my bedroom that night, and I have it now too, that I don't just want meetings, and I don't just want churches. I want to be able to say, like Samuel said at the end of his life, that my generation is closer to God at my death than it was when I started. And I'm proud to report And so should you, every pastor that's here, every evangelist, every worker, every Christian. America is experiencing a turning to God like at no other point in its history. The wind was in our face, but now the wind is at our back. And it's time to get filled with the fire of the Holy Ghost. And these next 2 years, make the devil sorry he didn't kill you when he had the chance. This is not the time of the devil. This is the time of the church of the Lord Jesus Christ. And the people that are going to shake their nations for God are not out there somewhere. They're in this room. And I want to tell you, in the name of Jesus, congratulations in advance for the best 24 months that you've ever had. If you receive it, go ahead and do what you're already doing. Give the Lord a great hand clap and a mighty shout. The Bible says in that curse of the law that if the people won't serve me with joy and gladness of heart, then I'm going to allow another nation to come in that's heartless and unforgiving, no pity for the young, no compassion for the old. That guy that got his head cut off in Northern Ireland, I think was north of 70. God didn't even care, right in the daylight. Islam is the fulfillment of that in this generation. That if a nation, the nations of Europe, and we're on in Europe, I just preached in Europe, I'm not giving up on Europe, but it's time. You cannot pretend like there's not a problem. When a church used to have 1,200 people, and now it has 9 on Sunday, and they sell it to a mosque for free because it's politically correct and viewed nice. You need to wake up and realize you're letting another spirit come in, but that spirit will never set up shop in the United States of America because we have a group of people that have made up their mind. I will not bow to Baal. I will not kiss his face. I have decided to serve the Lord with all my heart. I want to show you this so it's not just like I'm popping off at the mouth. This great hunger for God that's come into the nation. Late November of last year, I have had a dream for a long time. And this is my title tonight. Using your faith to subdue a nation. Because what we should be doing right now, with the wind at our back, you know, you hear preachers talk about, I wish we could get back to when this country was a God-fearing nation. Revolutionary War, 17% of Americans attended church. It's at 45% right now, 47%. And then, this sounds unbelievable, but it's an actual study. Pew Research Group, 66% of Americans say that they've made a meaningful commitment. This is this year. 66% of Americans say they've made a meaningful commitment to Jesus Christ that is still, no, they made a personal commitment to Jesus Christ that's still meaningful in their life today. That's 2/3. So I was at that Rededicate America thing. Let me see those papers out of. I was at that Rededicate America to God, and it's like everybody's just got their old material out. America needs to turn back to God. We need to repent for the sins of this nation. Show me in the Bible where I can repent for somebody else's sins. If you can, then I'm not going to travel and preach. Why don't we just repent for all 8 billion people's sins and everybody can be saved? Those are religious things that undermine the preaching of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm going to tell you why there's a blessing on this ministry. At 89 years old, you still hear what comes out of the abundance of Kenneth Copeland's mouth. That this gospel must be preached to all the world as a witness, and then the end shall come. You can't have enough people playing the acoustic guitar on a mountain over a city to take the place of the preaching of the gospel. That's why today there is an anointing coming on you to gird up your loins and fulfill everything that God's called you to do and to be everything that God's called you to be. So I wrote this out because America's so far from God. Is it? Corporate America has abandoned gay pride. Fortune 500 participation in the Human Rights Campaign's Corporate Equality Index plunged 65% this year, from 377 companies to just 131 companies. I think there were 78 people at Gay Pride in my city of Pittsburgh this year. They raised $31,000. A Word of Faith church can do that at a car wash. Nearly 30 million, number 2, nearly 30 million more Americans, 30 million more Americans have made a personal commitment to Jesus Christ in just 4 years. according to Barna Research Group, with Bible sales hitting a 21-year high in 2025. Number 3, I'm just reading this. I'm hoping to get the devil on high blood pressure medication by 9:30 tonight. CDC data shows fentanyl-related overdose deaths. Remember that fentanyl that was killing more young people in the United States than the Vietnam War? Cleaning them up 1931 at a shot every weekend, just dead on the street. CDC data shows fentanyl-related overdose deaths plummeted 36% in 1 year. The sharpest national decline on record, sparing 100,000 lives. Number 4, Planned Parenthood is facing financial collapse after 2025 federal defunding. That's right. Forcing widespread clinic closures across multiple states as its revenue streams dry up. Planned Parenthood tweeted the other day that we're facing an economic shortfall. I retweeted it and wrote above it, thoughts and prayers. Number 5. Now, I don't believe every prophecy. Somebody asked Brother Schambach one time, would you ever base anything you did off of someone's prophecy? And he said, it depends on how much confidence I had in the person that gave the word. Well, the person that gave this word is somebody that's a real prophet. And in 2015, I was in a meeting in Ohio, and he said, there's a revival that's coming to America. And the sign that it hits in full force will be that the Antichrist spirit that's in the United Nations will not be able to stay on the shores of the United States and will have to relocate to another country. Well, the United Nations has announced this year they are in a severe liquidity crisis with billions. That's why they don't like Kenneth Copeland and his jets. Their money's drying up and our money's just starting because the windows of heaven never run dry. I said the windows of heaven never run dry. When the devil's your source, you go broke. But when God is your source, you go from glory to glory, victory to victory, and strength to strength. The United Nations is in a severe liquidity crisis with billions in unpaid U.S. dues, cutting its 2026 budget and warning it could run out of cash while considering scaling back operations in America. Number 6, transgender and non-binary identification among young Americans has dropped 50% in 2 years, dropping from 6.8% to 3.6% among college students in major surveys. Number 7, pediatric transgender surgeries and medical transitions for minors have been effectively halted across more than 25 states, with federal rules and hospital pullbacks shutting down access nationwide. How do you go in 2 years? I want to ask you a question. How do you go in 2 years from there being this push, is like every kid was transgender, to now no insurance companies will cover it, and even Los Angeles County Hospital has discontinued it? You want to know why? Because we can bypass Democrats. We can bypass Republicans. We can call on the name of that is above every name. And God said, when you call on me, I will answer you. I will send revival and heal your land. Come on, we should give God glory today. We're not on the losing side. We're not trying to hang on to the end. We are on the winning side. Take 30 seconds if you would. Clap those hands. Give Jesus Christ the biggest shout. Come on, lift him up tonight. So I don't want to belabor the point, but I broke those into 2 separate points. It's not like there's a big outcry for people to have their kids be transgender and there's nowhere to do the surgeries, that no one's identifying that way anymore. It's cut 50% in 1 year. How do people just lose interest in it all of a sudden? How come you have a team like the Texas Rangers cancel gay pride and replace it with faith and family night and have 3 players get up on the dugout and preach Christ to the crowd? You want to know why? Because the devil will not write the final chapter of United States history. The people that are going to write it are in this room, not by might, not by power, but by the Spirit of Almighty God. Number 8, young people are abandoning alcohol at historic rates. Gen Z drinking has fallen off dramatically, with only about 50% of adults under 35 now reporting that they drink alcohol. Only 17% of parents that drank and did drugs, their kids watch that. And they don't want that. The devil can't sell them on sin because they watch their mom go in and out of methadone clinics. And they watch their dad die at 31. The devil did what he does best. You know, when I was growing up in Pentecostal church, you can finish the sentence. If the devil reminds you of your past, remind him of what? But you can also remind him of his past because he was a screw up then too. Everything he ever planned failed and backfired. The devil is not an intelligent being. Everything he touches is anointed to fail. Stop thinking about what he did in your life, because I have news for you tonight. Whatever the devil did to wreck your life, it wasn't even enough to keep you out of a Tuesday night Holy Ghost meeting. The devil will not write the final chapter in America, and he won't write the final chapter of your life. Get ready for a second half of the anointing in Jesus' name. So, I knew, put 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 9 up if you would. This is a scripture the Lord gave me early in the ministry for evangelism. The Lord is not slow about his promise to return as some people think. No, he's being patient for your sake. He does not want anyone to perish. So he's giving more time for everyone to repent and be saved. And we know how they repent and how do they get saved. Put Romans chapter 10 verse 8 up. You can't sing them into salvation. You can't pray them into salvation. They only get saved one way. The message is very close at hand. It's on your lips and in your heart. That is the word of faith that we preach. Keep going. That if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. I want everybody watching me on television right now to know you're only one prayer away from alcoholism leaving your life. Whatever the devil used to bind you, you're going to call on Jesus tonight. You're going to call that number on the bottom of your screen, and you're going to finish in heaven where you belong, whether the devil likes it or not. That message is the message of faith that we preach. If you openly declare that Jesus is Lord. Why can't the letters at the DMV be that big? And believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. For with the heart man believeth unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made. Verse 10, unto salvation. As the scriptures say, anyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Keep going. Go to 14, I think I'm at right now. Romans 10:14. Jew and Gentile, for everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Now, if it ended there, Brother Jesse Duplantis doesn't have to preach 357 times this year. If you could pray for the people in the Middle East to get saved, and that's it, Lord, just be with the people. I mean, I grew up in Pentecostal church. You'd think that the Great Commission was, send me into all the world. But it's go ye into all the world. What does they need a plane for? To go into all the world. Iran's going to come up into the gospel. That IRGC is going down. The gospel is going to be preached in Iran, and we're not going to wait till Star Alliance resumes air travel there. The Word of Faith crew that's got their own airlines will be the first one in to attack that nation with the gospel of Jesus Christ. But how can they call on him unless they believe in him? And how can they believe in him if they've never heard? And how can they hear about him unless someone tells them? How can they hear about him unless someone tells them? That will never go out of style. That will never be advanced past. Whatever jobs AI can take, whatever jobs technology can take, there will never be a substitute for somebody in human skin telling people about Jesus Christ and delivering the Word of God. How will anyone go and, man, I feel good. How will anyone go and tell them without being sent? That is why the scriptures say, how beautiful are the feet of those that bring good news. But not everyone welcomes the gospel. For Isaiah the prophet said, Lord, who has believed our message? But faith comes. Hallelujah. Faith cometh by hearing. I was preaching in Santa Ana, California in a stadium. I watched this old Mexican man with a nice like Panama Jack hat on. And I watched, he told me he had never been to church. He was a Roman Catholic in Mexico, had emigrated up to California. I had an interpreter. I mean, it is so awesome to preach and watch that substance called faith go into people's spirit and their eyes change. He took his hat off and put it over his heart, came first thing to the altar, then stopped me in broken English. He went, I understand it now. I understand Jesus is in my heart. Hallelujah. When you preach, T.L. Osborne was in a meeting with Brother Schambach, and they sat, my uncle was in this meeting, they sat all the wheelchair people in a row on the left, on like the preacher's left, like here. And Brother Schambach got in front of this guy who my uncle had put in the wheelchair line. So he's not in there because his leg hurts or has a ruptured disc. He was in Vietnam, and shrapnel went through his spinal cord. T.L. Osborne gets in front of him and is preaching. And he says in that nice voice, you know, he looked like a professor. He went, the word's getting in your vertebrae. It's getting in your discs. It's shimmying into your spine. You know how he talked like he was from the 1700s. Shimmying up into your spine. It's powerful. You're getting stronger. You're getting stronger. And when he stood there for about 90 seconds preaching to him like that, out of Romans, that guy popped out of his wheelchair. And when he did, everybody else saw him do it, and they popped out of their wheelchair. I want to tell you something, my friends. That day is coming back to the United States. I don't mean 10 years from now. I'm talking the second half of this year is going to be marked with signs, wonders, and miracles in your church, in your youth group, in your Sunday school class. If you believe it, can you shout amen? So I felt to go to Africa with who I would consider the best crusade evangelist that's out right now, Bishop Dag Haywood Mills. And I was with him in a place called Cabinda, Angola. And I was doing this. You heard him preach on it in the first 2 days. That Brother Hagin said the anointing comes by association and environment. So there's things you'll never have if you don't see it. Like you being here right now as a pastor, you should look and start to see this as your Sunday. Start to get a picture that this many people are going to come to church in your city. Because you'll reproduce it in seeing it. So I wanted to be where there was mass evangelism and catch it. And what I saw there did something for me. The whole soccer stadium was filled by the last day. And when they gave the invitation to receive Jesus Christ, everyone put their hand up. So Evangelist Dag kind of yelled at the interpreter. He said, you're not interpreting me right. This isn't if you want prayer. This is you don't know Jesus Christ and you need to receive Jesus Christ as Savior. And the guy with tears in his eyes, I was on the platform. He said, sir, no one's ever come here before. So they gave the invitation a second time, thinking some hands would go down more clearly to receive Christ as Savior. And instead, everyone put their second hand up with their first hand, and I saw a whole town come to Christ. Now, when I play this for you, I'm going to tell you something. This is going to be what happens in Detroit. This is going to be what happens to Somalians in Minnesota. The devil was stupid enough to fill this country with people that can't hear the gospel in their own country. So while they're here, his plan's going to backfire on his head. They're going to get saved. They're going to get filled with the Holy Ghost, and the devil can't do anything about it. Go ahead, play it.
Mention your name. Mention your name. Your full name and your address. Please write this name in the book of life. Por favor, escreva o meu nome no livro da vida.
Say, I love you, Jesus.
E diga assim, eu amo-te, Jesus.
Oh, yes. I love you, Jesus. I thank you, Jesus.
Now, in your spirit, you have to flip that from being Angola to New York University, Boston, Massachusetts, University of Alabama. You have to start seeing that God did not send you to your city to repeat the lies of other dried up, dead religious people that say why God can't move there. Everywhere the sole of your foot shall tread, you're going to bring the power of God and run the devil straight out of that place. Go ahead. Your hand clap is announcing to the devil, this is going to be the worst year that he's ever had. Can you shout amen? So I was home for a week at the end of November, and I felt the Lord speak to me on the heels of that. Pick a place with high childhood poverty and announce to that city that you're going to provide Christmas for them. And then, obviously, give them gifts and tell them about me. So I did. We had done things like that before. We usually had 800 to 1,200 people sign up. We had 20-some thousand people register in the first 36 hours, which is really good and really bad. Because now your toy budget goes from 25,000 to 400,000. Then it was, I think we had 50-some thousand people register. You know, if you go to the inner city and tell everybody they're going to get a gift and you run out of gifts, they're going to find you in a cornfield missing your sneakers. You'll die. And so I just figured, I don't know, maybe I was overtired or what. I just was like, well, let's just go with it. It was now going to be $1.2 million for the toys, which we didn't have, but whatever. And then we planned it, and I feel like this is how it's going to go in the last days. See, the Lord had me plan it 17 days ahead of time, which sounds nuts. But then at the same time, when you move real quick like that, nobody has time to do a Facebook group thing to show old clips of you preaching and rally the... It's like you move too quick for the devil. You're going to move too fast for the devil for the rest of your life. Today you receive divine speed. Today you receive a grace for divine speed in Jesus' name. Patrick, wave both your hands so people can see it. This is the guy that runs the money for our ministry. I have him in these meetings. You should take whoever runs the money for your ministry in Holy Ghost meetings, or you're going to be fighting a Judas the rest of your life that operates in the flesh. They got to get on the same page with you. Can you say amen? So I said, let's do it. Well, I had a guy call me that has connections to the White House, and he was just calling me because it was around Thanksgiving. How you doing? I said, good. He said, I saw you're doing a big outreach in Houston, Texas. I said, that's right. He said, how many people signed up? I told him, I said, do you have enough toys? I said, I don't. He said, what are you going to do? I said, I hadn't really thought about it yet. You know, what can I do anyway? I don't have like a workshop with tiny elves that make toys, conscripted labor. So, you know, I kind of learned something about the gift of faith at that point. That when it's like God puts a piece on you, and then other people get the thing you should be disturbed about. What was Daniel doing in the lion's den? What was he doing? And what was the king doing? So God will like trouble people with the thing that in the natural you should be troubled with. Well, this guy calls me. He goes, how many days is it away? I said, I think 11. He said, I'm going to hang up with you now and start making some phone calls. So he called back. He got 3 different agencies to donate toys at 70% off. So it knocked the budget down from 1.2 million to 400,000, which is a lot, because you still need 400,000 or 200,000 and a good hand of blackjack. But then you go to federal prison if you do it. I'm just throwing out ideas. So then they called back at the end of the same day that all 3 companies found out what they were going to be giving the toys to and decided to donate them completely. And all I had to do, one was Washington State, one was California, and one was another part of Texas. I had to pay $6,000 for each truck driver and truck. So now it went from 1.2 million to 400,000 to 18,000. Then the truck drivers found out what they were going to drive to. You know, Christmas, everybody gets generous. And so the truck driver said, we want to donate it. So the Lord provided $1.2 million. Now, when you see this, We were giving away go-karts and Game Boys. So then you still need people to unload the truck. I put one Instagram post out. I don't have a church in Houston or anything. 520 Christians showed up to unload the trucks and package the boxes for the people. And then the miracles continued. Because now all my dreams have been fulfilled. I'm just playing with house money at this point. Because my goal was to have 10,000 people in attendance at a United States crusade and have 1,000 come to the altar at a United States crusade. The 1,000 happened in Newark, New Jersey, but we broke 10,000. When I show you this, I'm showing you this so you don't just think you're listening to an over-caffeinated guy talk about how good America's doing. I am telling you, as we know, the wind in 2020, that attack of COVID, we were never supposed to have a meeting like this again. And I don't think we've given God proper praise for everything he's done. They said, listen now, they said it'll be a new normal. There'll never be mass meetings. Did you notice when that little guy, Dr. Fauci, every time that he told what the rules were, they were never, we asked Buddhists not to do this. We asked Muslims not to do this. We asked Scientologists not to do this. Every rule was for church. You know, I wrote it down. It was like the devil was tipping his hand of what he doesn't like. We asked for no loud singing. Sing more loudly. We asked for no communion. Take more communion. We asked that you talk and don't shout. Preach harder. You started getting a list that the devil doesn't mind if you have church, as long as there's a few people and it's quiet and nobody prays and nobody shouts. So he must be in a bad mood tonight, because we're packed and we're shouting and we're singing and we're dancing. Everything the devil tried has failed, and the church has the victory. Shout it out, the shoe's on the other foot. Yeah, we were all getting hauled into court, and Dr. Fauci was smiling. Now we're free, and he's testifying before the Senate tomorrow. What kind of moron keeps a diary on their work computer about everything illegal? The devil's crowd was never that bright. The shoe's on the other foot. The wind was in our face, but now the wind's at our back. It's time to run. I said it's time to run. It's time to take this open season and make the devil sorry he swung and missed. Can you say amen? Watch what Jesus did in Houston.
We felt led by the Spirit to go to a section of Houston facing some of the highest levels of childhood poverty, with one simple goal: to bring joy and hope to the families in the city. When God speaks, you move quickly. Revival Today went into action, and in just 17 days, this event came together. We initially planned to reach a few thousand people, but the advertising caught fire. In 1 week alone, more than 20,000 people registered.
Look at those toys. I never got anything like that.
22,000 toys to give children's gifts for Christmas.
I came to tell the devil something in Houston.
Yo vine a decirle algo al diablo Houston.
Enough is enough.
Ya es suficiente.
It's time for the people of Houston to be free.
Ya es tiempo que la gente de Houston sea libre. Bajo el poder de Dios.
I tell you in the name of Jesus.
Te digo que en nombre de Jesús.
From the back.
Desde atrás.
To the front.
Hasta el frente.
The tide is turning in your life today.
Todo está cambiando a tu favor.
As hard as life used to be.
Lo más difícil que la vida ha sido.
When you come to Jesus.
Cuando tú vienes a Jesús.
He's going to lift your heavy burden.
Él te va a sacar la carga.
And he's going to destroy the yoke of the devil.
Y él va a romper el yugo del diablo.
No more poverty.
Ya no más pobreza.
No more struggling for food.
No más escasez.
No more struggling for a place to live.
No más para luchar por un
Today
lugar.
I'm going to introduce you to somebody.
Hoy yo voy a introducir a alguien.
His name is El Shaddai.
Su nombre es El Shaddai.
The God of more than enough.
El Dios que más.
As Pastor Jonathan preached,
pause it real quick.
Tears filled the crowd.
Pause it. You would think if you told a crowd of people who had never been to church before, I'm going to lay hands on everybody that wants hands laid on, you'd think you'd have nobody. Everyone came texting their cousins to bring their kids, and the line just kept growing. That one girl, she got knocked on the ground 4 times. I got 4 different words of knowledge on her. Something that happened to her when she was little, something that happened to her recently, a sickness, and then an addiction that she had. Boom, boom, boom. Help her up, down again. Help her up, down again. More, the line kept growing. They have tried to convince you that to reach the world, you need to lay down the power of the Holy Ghost. But I'm telling you, every sinner, whether they know it or not, they are longing for the fire of the Holy Ghost, and you're going to get it to them. Continue.
Bondages were broken. When the altar call was given, hundreds responded. In total, we saw 10,320 in attendance, and 710 people gave their lives to Christ. This is not the devil's time.
It's not the devil's time. Go ahead. I was just talking.
This is America's time to come to Christ. Our generation
Say that out loud.
will be saved.
Hallelujah! How do you do it? Go to Acts chapter 19. Acts 19, 1 through 20. Works in every city in the world. Acts 19, verses 1 through 20. Faith to subdue a nation. While Apollos was in Corinth, Paul traveled through the interior regions until he reached Ephesus on the coast, where he found several believers. Did you receive the Holy Spirit when you believed? We believe every believer receives the Holy Spirit upon salvation. Then someone should have instructed Paul to have better doctrine. They weren't sinners. Paul asked believers, did you receive the Holy Spirit since you believed? No, they replied, we haven't even heard that there is a Holy Spirit. Now listen, I'm not old, but I have been preaching about 46 plus weeks a year for 25 years and met a lot of pastors. There is a pandemic in this nation and Canada and Europe. No, we're spirit-filled ourselves. We don't talk about it a lot because the people aren't, at that place. It's your job. How long did it take Paul to get him to that place? He did it first thing. Did you receive the Holy Spirit since you believed? No, they replied. We have not even heard that there be a Holy Spirit. No one can receive what they don't hear preached and taught to them. So you don't say our people don't believe in giving. You preach prosperity. You don't say our people don't believe in healing. You preach healing till you break it through. Can you say amen? Then what baptism did you experience, he asked. They replied, the baptism of John. Paul said John's baptism called for repentance from sin, but John himself told the people to believe in Jesus, the one who would come later. As soon as they heard this, they were baptized in the name of the Lord Jesus. Then when Paul laid his hands on them, the Holy Spirit came on them, and they spoke in other tongues. It was they speak in other tongues. It was like 11% of the crowd. Say, speak with other tongues. The end-time church should be a tongue-talking church. You know not what you should pray for nor how you should pray, but the Spirit speaks through you with groaning. There's power when you pray in the Spirit. I mentioned my grandfather. He had 4 sons. My dad's one of them. He would take them all to the YMCA on Saturday nights to have them swim to wear them out so they'd go to sleep for church. So he's there one night in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and there was a businessman that was visiting from Greece, and they started talking. So my grandfather was a likable guy, like sinners liked my grandfather. And so he said, all right, I'm going to come to church with you tomorrow. He was Greek Orthodox and from Greece. So he comes to church. Old Pennsylvania lady stands up, gives a message in tongues. If you're as old as I am or older, you knew there was a time in church, if you took too long to breathe, somebody gave a message in tongues. And now it's gone the other direction. You go to a month of Sundays, never hear one tongue. So this lady stands up and starts bellowing out in tongues. And that Greek businessman walks out to the aisle, think he's going to leave, and he goes straight down to the altar and kneels down and prays for a while. And so after the service, he comes up to my grandfather and said, that was great. Can I meet that lady from my hometown? He said, we don't have any ladies from your hometown. It was central Pennsylvania. Nobody's been out of the county. He said, no, that lady not only speaks, it'd be like if you were in Greece from Alabama, and the person not only spoke English, they spoke like Talladega. He said, when that lady stood up, she didn't just speak in Greek, she spoke in my dialect of Greek. And she said, stop trying to figure me out with your head and receive me into your heart. And that's when I came down to the altar and accepted Jesus Christ. The last day outpouring that we're in it right now. It's not coming, we're in it right now. It will be a day of tongues and interpretation of tongues and prophecy in Jesus' name. If you receive it, let your hand clap go up to God one more time. Somebody shout hallelujah. Spoke in other tongues and prophesied. There were about 12 men in all. Again, for our friends in other denominations that tongues were given so the gospel could be preached to people in other languages. Who was getting the gospel preached to them there? Paul? There were 12 men in Paul. So if tongues was in the first century to preach the gospel, there was nobody to preach the gospel to. No one ever had the gospel preached to them in tongues in the book of Acts. My friends in other denominations, it's not there. Even in Acts 2, if they had the gospel preached to him in tongues in Acts 2, why did Peter have to get up and, according to Luke, preach for a very long time? All they heard was God being glorified in their languages. But the gospel was preached by Peter. Can you say amen? So then it keeps going. Verse 8. Then Paul went to the synagogue and preached boldly for the next 3 months, arguing persuasively about the kingdom of God. But some became stubborn, rejecting his message and publicly speaking against the way. So Paul left the synagogue and took the believers with him. Then he held daily discussions at the lecture hall of Tyrannus. Now these are the kind of parts that you skip if you're not careful. This went on for the next 2 years. Amplified says from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. 5 hours a day for 2 years until everyone heard the word of the Lord. So there is a time at your city where you have to do what the Bible calls laboring in the Word of God. Seems like nothing's happening, but it's impossible for nothing to happen because God's Word is incorruptible seed. You cannot sow it without there being a harvest. I prophesy in the name of Jesus. Every pastor that's in the sound of my voice, the seeds you've been sowing for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, get ready for a supernatural harvest by the end of this year in Jesus' mighty name. Then God gave Paul the power to perform unusual or special miracles, that when handkerchiefs or aprons that had merely touched his skin were placed on the sick, they were healed of their diseases and any evil spirits came out. A group of Jews was traveling from town to town, casting out evil spirits. They tried to use the name of the Lord Jesus in their incantation, saying, I command you in the name of Jesus, whom Paul preaches, to come out. 7 sons of Sceva, a leading priest, were doing this. But one time when they tried it, the evil spirit replied, I know Jesus and I know Paul, but who are you? Then the man with the evil spirit leapt on them, overpowered them, and attacked them with such violence that they fled from the house naked and battered. The story of what happened spread quickly. Now, I'm going to tell you something, and I pastor now. People used to think you just talk like this because you're an evangelist, but we're up over 1,000 in Pittsburgh in 4 years. We're at about 500 average attendance without me there in Fort Worth, and we've broken 1,000 several times, and we're at about 250 to 300 in California and Arizona in 1 year. So if you read the book of Acts, you can't have one clean 85-minute service after another clean 85-minute service. There's sloppy services in Pentecost. Nobody likes that, but I'm not wrong. I was even watching the video recap of Azusa Street. On day 3, the house they were meeting in at the prayer meeting, they busted the porch. They broke the family's house. Pentecostals have been doing permit violations since 1906. And then they moved to that feed store, whatever it was, on Azusa Street. That was overpacked. Sheriff and fire marshal trying to shut it down. I'm not saying you got to have a zoo. But if your church, if you can come into your church and know exactly what part of the service it's in 1 week after another, God is not static. God is dynamic. There's a flow for every service. You know, we pride ourselves on not being religious. We think all the other denominations are religious. But if we're not careful in the word of faith, we're going to get But not today. Today, the shackles come off, and your church is going to be known as a dynamic place where the Spirit of God moves. If you receive it, take 15 seconds one more time. Clap your hands, all ye people. Shout unto God. You know, people leave the meeting naked and battered. The story of what happened spread quickly all through Ephesus to Jews and Greeks alike. A solemn fear descended on the whole city. So that had already happened in Jerusalem in Acts 5. Now it's happened in Ephesus in 2 years. Many who became believers. Everybody say breakthrough. So now no one's asking them to burn their idols. People are just bringing them in. You can have, you know, we throw this word around a lot, but there is real breakthrough where it just pops. And I'm telling you, we're in a national one right now. See, if we're not careful, it's like you talk to people that are 50 and older. Ronald Reagan's days were great days. The economy was great, but you know what? If you go listen to John Osteen, his old messages from the 80s, nobody knew it was great. Everybody was worried about Iran, the Soviet Union, interest rates. If you're not careful, you can be in the thing you prayed for to happen and not realize it till it's gone. We are in a special window, at least through 2028, where whatever moves there are to make in your heart, it's time to get the plans together and make your move. God is pouring out an anointing. I want to tell you something. We're going to close this service out by praying over every minister of the gospel. The things you thought it was going to take you 10 years to do, you will have it done by Christmas in Jesus' mighty name. I don't hear anybody in here. You will have it done by Christmas. Somebody shout supernatural acceleration. People just start bringing their idols. Many who became believers confessed their sinful practices. A number of them who had been practicing sorcery brought their incantation books and burned them at a public bonfire. The value of the books was several $1 million. So the message of the Lord spread widely and had a powerful effect. Can I say King James? So the message of Jesus Christ spread widely and had a powerful effect. KJV. So mightily grew the word of God and prevailed. That's what we have here right now. Islam's not going to set up shop in Texas. The word of God is growing mightily and prevailing. This is going to be a bad year for the devil and a great year for the children of God. So rejoice and be glad, for the Lord has given you the victory. Say with me, by faith, they subdued nations. Okay, so how do you do it? You have, now we're faith people. You know, Dallas and I had a house given to us, $960,000. Man bought it for us and furnished it with furniture and gave my wife whatever car she wanted, and she bought whatever car she wanted. So I'm not against using your faith for homes. We did it. I have a Falcon 900 that was given to me to use. I paid nothing per month. I'm pro jet, pro house, pro Rolex. But the main thing your faith should be going out for, the main mountain you should move, is the devil's sorry rear end out of your generation. That's what God has for you to do, to target the enemy and bulldoze the gates of hell in Jesus' name. I'm going to show you another ministry I got around. It's actually when I met Brother Copeland, when he started talking to me about coming here to preach. Dr. Polinichi pastors in Abuja, Nigeria. What you do by the anointing is you attack in that nation. Say with me, find your Goliath. Every nation has a different Goliath. So Nigeria was facing the kidnapping of Christians in the north. Whole churches getting butchered. And so they went to prayer. They went against the enemy in that area. And the testimonies that came out were powerful. So for them, it's kidnapping. For your city, I don't know what your city is. Could be cancer, could be heroin, could be fentanyl, could be kids that cut themselves. You have to find what the main giant is in that city and attack it by preaching, teaching, and demonstration of power. Can you say amen? So here's an example. This is what happened when they went after that demonic kidnapping plague in Nigeria. Listen to these signs and wonders.
A widow woman who is on our welfare in church, and the son is on our scholarship in Plateau State, was going to one of the bush areas in Plateau State from the school in Barakinla, the Federal Polytechnic, and crossing the river and going, and then they were accosted by Fulani headsmen. 15 of them with AK-47. Marched them into the bush, stripped them naked, asked them to recite the Islamic thing, and they were not able. And they wanted to shoot now. Cocked the gun, shot, and the gun refused to fire. 15 AK-47s. And then the people were released. So what is this? Wear your cloth back. And they went into the the young man went back to school. About 10 days later, the head of the Fulani herdsmen traced the young man back to school. And he saw him, he said, yes, I know you. You are the one who wanted to kill us the other day. He said, yes, you really know me. Please, I came to ask you for the secret of that power. I need that same power. Can you give me that same power? And he said, what are you talking about? He said, the power that made our gun not to fire. He said, it's the power of Jesus Christ. He said, no, tell me more. He said, because since that day, the gun has not fired anywhere. None of the guns has fired anywhere for nobody. He said, it is Jesus Christ that made a difference in my life. He said, then I need to know about that Jesus Christ. Fulani headsman. He said, can you give me your phone number? And the man said, you collected our phone the other day. He said, please, I'm so sorry. We'll return back the phone. He said, I want to be your friend. Now, when such testimony was shared, everywhere erupted. And then people, okay, so this thing is fightable. So this thing is conquerable. Within the same 2 weeks, we had another one. Young girl from, I think, Benin or so, or somewhere, was going to Lagos. Around Oreside, they were kidnapped by kidnappers. Put in a lorry, taken into the bush. In the thickness of the jungle, she sat down and closed her eyes and was singing one of her songs. You are always there to help. You are always there to help me. Even when no one was there. She bent her head. Finished singing, opened her eyes. And she was sitting on the highway by the military checkpoint. She had disappeared from there. Translocated, transported from the road, sitting by military checkpoint on Benin or an expressway.
Now, bring it back to me. And you heard what he said. He said when this stuff started happening, there was a change in the churches in Nigeria from what can we do to wait a minute, this thing's conquerable. This thing's beatable. There's things in your city that people don't think of, like in Pittsburgh. I was told when I started a church, when the Steelers are playing on Sunday, you better make sure your service is done before noon or you won't have anybody in your church. No, I have a better idea. I'm going to be having church in their stadium, and they're going to be making plans to have games on Thursdays and Saturdays so they don't interfere with church. We're not bowing to Baal. We're beheading the Baals that are in our city. Can you say amen? I'm going to tell you, we beat this COVID thing, but whatever remnants you have left of that faith over fear mask stuff and bowing to disease, Jesus didn't say there'd be one plague before his return. He said there'll be plagues. They cooked up that hantavirus. Ebola's back. Taco Bell has its own virus. You should make up your mind. You might have missed it on the first one, but whatever sickness Dr. Fauci and his crew are cooking up in a lab, we will never close our church down again. We're going to battle sickness and disease with the blood of Jesus Christ. Say it with me. Say, challenge the giant of your city. That's what Oral Roberts did. Did they cancel church? Did they cancel 10 meetings for tuberculosis? No, they had tuberculosis night. What an insane way to try to draw a crowd. Tonight's tuberculosis night. Okay, I'm going to come tomorrow night. Tuberculosis night. Here's a polio night. Polio was the thing of his day. It's my ChatGPT. I'm not a doctor, but I do have ChatGPT. The thing that caused polio was transmitted through breathing and sneezing. Did he pray for him at a distance? Did he pray for him masked up? Or did he have the little boy come and sit on his lap? Unafraid. I'm telling you, that's what the spirit of faith does. The spirit of faith makes you, instead of being afraid of the devil, it makes the devil check for you under his bed before he goes to sleep at night. That spirit of faith is coming alive in every believer tonight. Play me a little Oral Roberts. Watch this challenging spirit to the giant of his day. Go ahead.
All right. Now you've got polio from your waist down, and the right side is affected the most. Are you the mother? Step over here a minute and talk to me. Tell me when this happened to Billy Ray.
Last July.
And where do you folks live?
Lake City, South Carolina.
And your name is what?
Omni Osborne.
Pause it.
Well, tell me why you brought Billy.
He asked where the kid lives in South Carolina. Anytime somebody's named Billy Ray, they live south of the Mason-Dixon. Keep going.
Ray to our campaign. Mrs. Poston?
Yes.
Do you sincerely believe that Christ can heal your child?
Yes, sir.
Why do you think that?
Well, I do, because he said that he would heal the afflicted.
Yes. Billy Ray, do you have faith in the Lord?
Yes, sir.
You think God can heal you?
Yes, sir.
Well, I believe he can. Will you join me now as I pray for this young man tonight? Oh, God, let thy healing go into his hip and limbs. Let the healing virtue of Christ heal him. Brother Deweese, I want him on my knee just 1 minute. Son, he's going to lift you up here.
Pause it. I'm not just playing healing videos. There's a challenging thing that has to get in your spirit. Who is this uncircumcised Philistine that he would defy the armies of the living God? Today I'll cut off your head, and then I'm going after everybody behind you. And I'm going to tell you something. Instead of bowing to whatever all the other pastors tell you you have to bow to in your city, if you'll challenge it, instead of announcing a series of church at the movies, what if you announced a 4-week series on victory over cancer by the blood of Jesus, and open the altars up to pray for people with breast cancer and brain cancer, and declare your church a cancer-free zone? That challenging spirit is coming back into the children of God. Go ahead.
Brother Deweese, are you ready for this? Pastors, the sponsoring churches, are you praying with me tonight? Audience in the tent, you friends there? Now, Jesus, we ask that his little limbs be healed and that they shall be restored. Restore them tonight in the name of Christ the Lord.
Leg doesn't even move. It's limp.
Oh, God, loosen that little foot up and take the stiffness. Oh, it's coming now, son. Praise God, praise God, praise God. Thank you, God. Now then, Billy Ray, I want you to raise that leg up like that. Oh, you can do it! Raise this one up, son. Now raise this little leg up, son. Oh, that's wonderful tonight. Jesus of Nazareth, let that virtue of healing go into this limb once more, into his little right foot particularly. Heal by thy power and make him whole.
Pause it. There's no microphones in the crowd. It sounds like a horror movie. People are screaming like they're all Methodists, and no one ever saw that. They've been taught for 1,100 years that God doesn't heal anymore. But somebody from Eden, Oklahoma never learned that lesson. And he decided to take God's power to his generation. There must be a new generation of word of faith that demonstrates. Don't just talk healing. Don't just preach healing. Demonstrate healing. Receive that power in Jesus' name. Go ahead, finish it.
What do you say? What do you think, hon?
Because my leg is straightening. I couldn't get it straight back.
You...
Set up like that.
It is straightening?
No.
How can you tell it's straightening?
Because I couldn't lift my leg up like
You
that.
couldn't lift it up. Oh, that's wonderful. Brother Dewey, we're going to put him down now. Honey? Oh, he wants down. Honey? Walk on off, son. Walk on. Oh, glory to God!
Signs, wonders, and miracles are coming back to the United States of America. Lift your right hand up and say it at the top of your voice. This hand is anointed. It's a registered weapon to bulldoze the gates of hell. In Jesus' name. Now lift your other hand up next to it and pray in the Holy Ghost. Come on, take 60 seconds and let it rip. Pray, pray, pray. Postobra, era, stir up the gift. Peda babrosto. Mondo repaste, Indiaraba. The anointing's coming back to challenge your challengers, to defy your Goliath, to not bow to your Baals. In the name of Jesus, if you receive it, shout amen like thunder. Say it out loud. Challenge your challengers. Defy your Goliaths. What's the Goliath? You be seated. What's the Goliath in your city? I was preaching at our church in Fort Worth. This was not in my notes, nor had I watched Fox News all week and gotten riled up. But in the anointing, I felt that news story about them starting that epic city in Plano, Texas. Largest mosque in Texas, Islamic community. And I'm telling you, I know everything they teach you. You know, you should take it easy on that stuff on Sunday. People are basically just coming to have a place to go before brunch. Don't give them that kind of stuff. But apparently the Holy Ghost didn't care. Everybody say, challenge your challengers. Whatever you bind on earth. And listen, I'm not trying to put words in Brother Duplantis' mouth or Brother Copeland's. But you know, they don't have the biggest house in Louisiana because they sat around believing God for a big house. He's going to preach 357 times this year at 77 years old. You know what that man did? He decided to not leave his generation the way he found it. And all of us owe a debt to Brother Duplantis, Brother Savelle, Brother Copeland, and Jesus Christ to take that torch and increase it to a lost and hurting world. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. You're going to do it. Be the last thing you ever have to pray for is your own needs if you advance the kingdom of God. Billy Graham had people flying from Saudi Arabia and drop gold off as a Baptist who was anti-prosperity. If you increase God's house, God increases your house. So this is Fort Worth when we're getting ready to launch that epic city thing. Go ahead.
I got news. Somebody send this clip to Saudi Arabia or wherever you need to send it. If you think you're moving Islam into Texas, you're smoking some bad weed. That religion will never find a foothold in here. But millions of Muslims will receive Jesus Christ in this country. This nation's not up for grabs. The church is already here. We're not getting moved out. We're moving forward. They're trying to purchase 420 acres.
I hope you caught both things, not just me mouthing off to Islam. As I was saying it, the Lord said the devil's a liar.
He's saying Islam's going to move into the United States, but actually, not only is it not going to move in here, all of those nations, the same way Africa came up under the gospel in the 1950s, and T.L. Osborne and Morris Cerullo went and blazed through there, the Middle East is coming open right now. Those Abraham Accords that they signed with President Trump, they're now building churches in United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia and Oman and Bahrain. The devil's not going to have America, but the church is going to preach the gospel to all nations, and then the end will come. Come on, I don't hear anybody in here. Go ahead, roll the rest. That's not a city. That's a quarter of a ranch in Texas. Ain't gonna put no city on 420 acres. The guy making the threats, you call that a mosque? In my house, we call it a coat room. In some 200 square foot building, saying you're gonna take Texas over. The devil's a liar. You don't have the money, you don't have the power, you don't have anything you need. The church is here, and Jesus is building his church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it.
Epic City. It is the planned
Muslims. 8 days later. Go ahead.
Centric neighborhood set just 40 miles north of Dallas, and it's got a lot of attention nationwide and from the top leaders of Texas. Yesterday, Governor Greg Abbott announcing the state has halted any construction of Epic City and has launched multiple investigations into the development alongside the Department of Justice.
You know what has to happen for that to happen? Somebody has to pastor in their city and quit repeating what the devil's doing. They're going to do this. Islam's taking over Texas. You know, Islam's moving into the United States. We have a major drug problem here. You're not only not a help, you're like a choir for hell. All you do is echo what Satan's plans are. The Bible still says in 2026, whatever you bind on earth, I'll back you from heaven, and whatever you loose on earth, I'll back you from heaven. In the name of Jesus, we bind every advancement of hell into this nation, and we loose the Spirit of God from the East Coast to Hawaii, from Alaska to Laredo, Texas. If you believe it, can you say amen? So there's national things. What about city things? This is back when our church had 300 people on Sunday morning. We have prayer noon to 1. And then we didn't have it in the notes, but I just had enough of reading reports about people dying from fentanyl and people's sons in our church getting hooked on it. So everybody say, bind it. I mean, if Daniel could live in Babylon and flip Babylon, unredeemed by the blood of Jesus, under a worse covenant based on worse promises, then what should we be doing with the word of faith, with the fire of the Holy Ghost and the blood of Jesus? I tell you one more time tonight, there's enough firepower in this room to run the devil straight out of this country. Go ahead, fentanyl. I curse heroin addiction. I curse the supply line of fentanyl into this city. In Jesus' name, I curse the supply line of heroin and fentanyl into this city. There will be arrests in the next 7 days. The police will think they caught a lucky break, but it's not luck. In Jesus' name, let a curse come upon everybody that has a hand in the supply of drugs to this city. FBI, CIA, corrupt DEA, regular gang members, anybody that has their hand in the supply of drugs to this city, I curse that. In Jesus' name. Enough deaths. Enough parents having to bury their children. In Jesus' name. Next day.
This is the man state agents arrested in one of the largest fentanyl busts in recent memory.
Now, we are talking about a lot of drugs. They found 700,000 individual doses of fentanyl at his Pittsburgh area home. Channel 11's Gabriella DeLuca is live.
You can bring it back to me.
And state law.
So I'm playing this for you not to show you. You know, all I did is believe God's word. God did not send you to pastor in your city to repeat what everybody. People don't really come to church here. There's like so religious that you can't really get people to come. There's a real demonic stronghold here. Real, is there? Tell me what stronghold the devil can have that's higher than Jesus Christ. Where are you seated? Where are you seated? What devil's higher than that? Every principality is already under the feet of the born-again, spirit-filled, blood-bought child of God. I tell you in advance, congratulations on 5 months of revival in your city. Your youth group's going to explode. Your church is going to explode. Get ready. Say it out loud. Challenge your challengers. So what needs bound in your city? Bind it. Quit repeating what other... We've been trying to get all the pastors together to pray. You're going to waste your life. How many prayer partners did Elijah have to call fire down from heaven? You don't need more people praying with you. You need to believe. If thou canst believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Everybody say, whatever I bind is bound. And then whatever you loose is loose. This is one of my favorites because this was at a crusade in Plaquemine, Louisiana by Baton Rouge, where we did an outdoor crusade and we had a ton of people get saved. And then God did great things. So you bind demonic things and you loose signs and wonders and they grow the church. When your church gets a reputation this year as a place that if you go there, you can go there broken, but you can't leave there broken. Jesus heals people at that church. That will be the reputation of your church in 2026. I said that will be the reputation of your church in 2026. Jesus heals people at that church. Watch this in Louisiana.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I'm in Louisiana. And at 9 years old, I was told that I would never have kids. I started having surgeries, and I've had about 14 surgeries that have taken my right tube, right ovary. The left tube is completely scarred up, and I have hardly a fourth of my left ovary. So I was told there is no possible way except IVF. Once we did IVF twice, we did not go back because we were told that it just wouldn't work anymore. We went to the Festival of Life in 2017 here in Plaquemine, Louisiana, where Jonathan Shuttlesworth was, and he spoke out into the crowd and he kind of leaned towards my direction and he said, there's a woman here who was told that she would, I'm getting goosebumps, who was told that she would never have babies.
I also believe at this altar. Pause it. See that lady in the hat that says sexy on it? If you've never done evangelism before, if someone comes to the altar with a hat that says sexy, it's not a recommitment, it's a first-time decision. Keep going. There's a lady that because of how you lived before you got saved, things got messed up on the inside of you, and they told you you had like a medical episode and they told you you'll never be able to have a baby again.
And she has hardly no female organs or no female organs at all. But I'm here to tell you to stand firm, stand in your faith that you will have babies, that God will bless you.
But as proof that God has saved your soul, God recreates your ovaries, your womb, and your uterus, and you'll have as many children as you like once you get married. In Jesus' name. That's right, sexy. That's a fact.
The next year is when I got pregnant with my first baby after trying for over 14 years for a baby. 2 years later, I got pregnant with my second, and 2 years later, I have my third. Three miracle babies when I was told I'd never have any, with hardly any female
He's
organs.
a miracle working God.
Said, don't give up. Have that faith.
Anything the devil tells you can't do once, you're going to do it 3 times in Jesus' mighty name. Come on, if you receive it one final time, take 30 seconds, put those anointed hands together, let out a shout of praise, let out a shout of victory. The devil is defeated. Jesus Christ is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Somebody shout hallelujah. Every hand lifted all over this place. In the name of Jesus, every pastor, every evangelist from America, from Canada, from Europe, from Africa, from Asia, from India, Pakistan, watching all over the world, your ministry will minimum double by the end of this year. In Jesus' name, I prophesy in the name of Jesus. The wind of the Holy Ghost is at your back right now. Stop making small plans. 2026 will not be a repeat of 2025. This is a year of supernatural acceleration. God is breathing fresh life into your vision right now. in Jesus' name. No more small churches, no more empty altars. From today, everything you put your hand to begins to multiply and explode in the name of Jesus Christ. If you're filled with the Spirit, with your hands lifted, begin to pray in the Holy Ghost one more time. Come on, call fire down. Fire for your life. Fire for your ministry. Come on, speak. Petaresto, Indiaraba, Ricotosto Pro, Randare, Indiarababro, Rostopo, Braca, Pindiaraba. Come on, 30 more seconds, pray. Bosto Repa, Ekata. Take your world for Jesus Christ. Take your city for God. Defy your Baals. Challenge your challengers. Tell Goliath you're taking his head off. You sound good. Keep praying. Mondo Repa. Let the fire fall. Let the fire fall. Fresh oil. Fresh oil. Fresh oil. Man, we got people that can pray in here. Pray. The thing Fauci told you not to do, do it. Pray. Pray from your heart. Pondo repa. Iscondo broto. Recatastebo. Rondo re. Let a doubling come on every church. Every youth group. Pondo re pasta. In Jesus' name we have prayed, and everybody said, every hand lifted to the Lord. I have news for you on television and live. God's not going to have you run around the world winning other people's kids to the Lord while your own go to hell. My wife's right there, and my daughter's right there serving the Lord, and they always will. My dad's a preacher, I'm his son, I'm serving the Lord. My sister's pastoring in Montreal, serving the Lord. The Bible still says, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Paul said salvation has come to you and your house. Every pastor that's here, that the devil mocks you. Hey, preach all you want. Your own son's on drugs. Your daughter's living with a guy she's not married to. The judgment of God is going to come against every bondage of the devil against your household. I prophesy in the name of Jesus, by Christmas time, every member of your nuclear family will serve the Lord Jesus Christ. The shackles of sin are falling off today. The shackles of sin. If you believe it, shout amen like thunder. Shout amen like thunder. How many of you feel victory in here? Let's lift our hands and just begin to thank the Lord. Come on, thank Him. Thank Him for the victory. Thank Him for our whole household. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for revival. Thank you for a healed marriage. Thank you for healed children. Thank you for revival. In Jesus' name. All God's people said amen. Now, you can't preach with a body that's at 80% or 40%. You can't even preach with a body that's at 100%. You have to have a supernatural quickening on your physical body to carry out what God's called you to do. Put your right hand on top of your head. Lift your left hand to the Lord. From the top of your head to the soles of your feet, the same power that recreated that womb and that ovary and that uterus and that woman in Louisiana, it goes to work in your body right now. New cartilage for your knees. I command your eyes to see. I command your ears to hear. I command your stomach to hold down food and process it, that you can eat. Whoever's here, that it's like Russian roulette every mealtime. You don't know what it is that you eat, when you eat it, but it can go smooth or it can put you out of commission for the rest of the day. Your digestive system is healed now. Every cancer in the sound of my voice, It is destroyed now. In the name of Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God. In Jesus' name. In Jesus' name. Now with your hands lifted, just thank Jesus for healing you right now. Not that he's going to heal you, that he's healing you right now. That he's strengthening you right now. Thank you, Jesus. Your thank you should be louder. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for strengthening me. New discs, new vertebrae, new cartilage in knees. Pain out of your feet's going right now. Cancer out of your blood. Tumors dissolved. In the name of Jesus Christ. If you receive it one more time, let your amen be the loudest. Give Jesus the biggest hand clap that you've ever given anybody. Come on, celebrate it. Your hand clap is announcing to the devil that his reign of terror is over in your life. Somebody shout hallelujah. Be comfortably seated. You be seated. Before we go our separate ways tonight, this is as important as anything we do. This lady in the blue jacket, like periwinkle, come around here if you would. Power of God's on you. Come to me, whatever way is easiest for you. In Jesus' name. How many of you were blessed tonight? Put one hand on your belly, lift the other one to the Lord. As you do, the power of God comes upon you. Everywhere you are weak, God's strength comes and supplements it now. In Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord. There it is. In Jesus' name. Amen. I'm going to tell you something that changed. My wife is over there at Dallas. That changed our ministry. I was in a meeting like this, and I was sitting and listening. I wasn't preaching, and it was almost midnight. So I had already looked up a place on Yelp to go eat. I was like mentally checked out of the meeting. And then a guy got up and gave a prophetic word to the pastor. He said, before the end of this year, God's going to give you $1 million. So I knew that preacher, and I knew his schedule pretty well. And I started looking around the room. It'd be like at a meeting like this, thinking, who's the guy that's going to give him $1 million? It won't be him. It won't be him. And I couldn't think of what church it would be. And then I thought this. Instead of wondering who's going to give the $1 million, we had $1.8 million in our ministry account, which sounds like a lot, but it's enough to last us, at that point, it lasted us like 3.5 weeks. So it's not that much. And I said to the Lord, since you're the one that said you'd give us a storehouse full of grain, and we're not supposed to play from behind, I said, if you'll get me to 3 million, I'll give $1 million and be the one that gives it. That was in January, in late January. From the time I said that, money came from everywhere. This lady drove to one of my meetings I was preaching in South Carolina. She said, I live 6 hours from here. And I drove here. She came at the end of the meeting and said, I just felt the Lord speak to me to drive and give you a check. She gave me a check for $325,000. Now think of this. It took me 20 years to get to 1.8 million. And from the time I said that to get another 1.2 with everything paid, it took 2 months. And so the second it hit 3 million, I called that minister and sent him a check. Actually got like a Happy Gilmore golf check printed up that said $1 million, and I gave it to him. And then when we gave that $1 million, that's when everything started breaking loose. We started to have one property after another given to us. That's when that man delivered a Falcon 50 to us and then upgraded it to a Falcon 900. And he just called and said, I see that your wife's traveling all the time, and I'm going to get her a plane as well. So people are already mad about me having one. When we have matching blue and pink planes, they're really going to be ticked off. So that was all triggered by that $1 million seed. And then 2 weeks ago at our church, Pastor Russell that spoke to the youth last night, he was preaching, and he said the Lord spoke to him to bring a check to our church, and he gave us a check for $1 million. That was on Thursday of 4 weeks ago. Thursday of the next week, I called him, and I said, how's everything going? You know, thinking he might want it back. He said, you're not going to believe it. He said, I gave you that $1 million. We needed 15 more million to close on our building,
And a financier called and said he was watching me on YouTube and was going to provide the $15 million to close the church. Then 2 separate people called to tell him that they've been watching his travel schedule and that they were going to give him a jet. When the Bible says, when you give, you'll receive. Your gift to the ministry, and I can back it from Scripture, is people save up for things, and you can do that. But they save the bulk of the money and sow a little bit of money. There's people that are at this meeting, because I've been in Christianity for 45 years. You're not even here to receive. You're here to like raise money for your thing. It's never dawned on you to sow to anything. You're actually here to collect people for your thing. But you'd be amazed what would happen if instead of trying to save up for your thing, you sow something that has your heart attached to it. You will watch God do for you in short time what you couldn't have saved up money for in 25 years. I thank God for principles of stewardship. We have enough people that are morons with money. It's good to know how to manage money. But you can't steward enough oil and meal to cook one meal to last 3.5 years. But when you give to the work of the Lord, it bypasses stewardship and it enters into financial breakthrough. Tonight is a night to sow a seed to trigger financial breakthrough. Can you say amen? Put Psalm 126 up on the screen. Psalm 126, NLT, thank you. Psalm 126, 1 through 6. When the Lord brought back his captives to Jerusalem, it was like a dream. We were filled with laughter and we sang for joy. And the other nations said, what amazing things the Lord has done for them. Yes, the Lord has done amazing things for us. What joy. Restore our fortunes, Lord, as streams renew the desert. For those who plant in tears will reap with shouts of joy. They weep as they plant their seed, but they return singing with their harvest. I want you to say something with me. Say, tearful seed produces joyful harvest. Say one more thing with me. If I don't feel what leaves my hand, I won't notice what comes back to my life. But then I'm going to tell you, when you feel what leaves your hand, I felt that $1 million go. Pastor Russell felt that $1 million go. He got called into an emergency board meeting at his church, wondering if he lost his mind. But then they all had to apologize 10 days later when it came back multiplied. Can you say amen? When you feel what leaves your hand, you feel what comes into your life. And I want to challenge you. Just like you can get comfortable in Word of Faith meetings with a lot of things, and you enter into like a rut, you can do that with your giving. Don't do that tonight. At 89 years old, I believe there would be a special blessing that came. If when Brother Copeland got word of what came in the offering tonight, it brought a refreshing to his spirit and his body. What you make happen for others, God makes happen for you. Not everybody can give $1 million, but many can. I'm going to ask you, if you were planning on doing something big at some point in your life, why not make it today? Not everybody can give $1 million, but many can give 6 figures. Many can't give 6 figures, but you can give 25, 50,000 from your business. Our ministry gave $5.3 million to other ministries last year. The Pittsburgh Steelers gave $940,000 to charity. They take in $2 billion a year. So I don't want to hear anything about my jet, because I got them beat by 5 times for charitable giving. Can you say amen? It's amazing how the world wants to take shots at Christian people, but Christian people are the givingest people, and our money actually gets to the people. It doesn't make pretend daycares in Minnesota. Can you say amen? I want to ask you, in this time of the latter rain, when God has turned the tide in this country, what seed could you sow tonight that would be your signal to God? I'm believing that you're taking my ministry to the double. And I'm not sowing what I normally sow. I'm going to do something tonight. There's soil you can plant in that is basically throwing your seed away. This is not one of those soils. This is a multiplication soil. There's a difference when you give to a ministry that doesn't say, how many know it doesn't matter whether you get here or in heaven. No, there's a difference when you give to a ministry that prays over every seed and believes with you for 100-fold harvest. All I want you to do tonight is ask the Holy Spirit what He would have you to give, but I want you to really ask the Holy Spirit what He'd have you to give. Those of you that are watching on the Victory Network,
What can you do? You weren't able to get here for today, but you're watching. What can you give from where you're at that would trigger something that what it would take you 15 years to do in the natural, God will loose it before the end of next month? How many of you believe God will do that on a night like tonight? Can you say amen? Every head bowed, every eye closed. Father, I thank you for the ability to hear your voice. And I pray that right now, as you put your finger on what seed we're to sow, I thank you that it'll come back 100-fold. What we couldn't do in 20 years, I thank you for opening the windows of heaven and pouring out a blessing that's so great, we won't have room enough to take it all in. In Jesus' name, I pray that tonight somebody would do what Pastor Russell and myself have done, to know the joy of what happens when you sow $1 million seed, how you start entering into $1 billion flow in your ministry and in your business. Let Christian businesses become mighty businesses off of this offering tonight. In Jesus' name. All God's people said amen. I'm going to turn the service to Brother Tim to tell you exactly how to give. Thank you for the privilege of ministering the gospel of Jesus Christ to you tonight. God bless every one of you in Jesus' name.
Thank you, sir. Praise God. Well, let's give him one more hand. That's amazing. Thank you, Jesus. Okay. I know you want to get your seed in the ground, so this is how you do it. For those of you here in the room, remember we did this earlier today? Tap this thing in front of you. A little game we played. Play it again. Tap your phone on the chair in front of you, and you can go through all the prompts and give that way. If you'd like to give a check, make your check payable to KCM. If you're giving cash, you will lock an envelope. Raise your hand. The ushers will get that to you right away. If you're watching online, you can text the word event to 36609. If you're also online, kcm.org/event. All the instructions are right there on the screen. Phone number, 817-566-7777 is the number you call if you want to call and give on the phone. Or if you want to mail it in, it's Kenneth Copeland Ministries, Fort Worth, Texas, 76192. Are you guys going to sing for us before we go? Well, why don't you sing for us? And ushers, when the folks are ready, you can service them.
Shout Jesus from the mountains, Jesus in the street, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name, Jesus. Come on. Shout Jesus from the mountain, Jesus in the street, Jesus in the darkness over every enemy, Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name. One more time, shout Jesus from the mountain, Jesus in the street, Jesus in the dark, over every enemy, Jesus for my family, I speak the holy name, Jesus. Your name is power, your name is healing, your name is alive. Break every stronghold, shine through the shadows, burn like a fire. Jesus, your name is power, your name is healing, your name is life. Break every stronghold, shine through the shadows, burn like a
Hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, just a couple more announcements before we let you go. If you've ever wanted to do evangelism training, we have maybe the best evangelism training person in the world.
I don't know how after listening to that message you don't want to go to evangelism training. So save the information on the screen and head to evangelism training with Riley Stevenson. It's happening in room 110 at 8:15 and 6 p.m. And so far this week, there's been over 300 salvations.
300 salvations. And that, let's give Jesus a hand. That's great. All right, what else we got?
Speaking of evangelism and going out into the cities and representing Jesus, just remember you're also representing Jesus at your hotel.
Yeah.
Bless the hotel staff. Evangelize to them, but also just be kind to them.
Remember, what would Jesus do?
Exactly. Okay, guys, remember, this is not the last Southwest Believers Convention.
Yeah.
This is our last time in this room, but we will be here again next year. So make plans to join us for the Southwest Believers Convention in 2027.
Now, you know, you may or may not know, we have a disaster relief team at KCM that is an outreach to our partners. Now, if we don't have a way to contact you, then we can't contact you, right? So we want you to update your contact info on disaster relief database and ensure that we can find you no matter what. So you can go online and figure that out.
Part of the reason we wanted to do this is because there's been a couple disasters over the last, I would say, 6 months, and my brother, Jonathan, has tried to call you, but I don't blame you for not answering a stranger's phone number. So this gives you more ways for us to contact you in case of a disaster. So we want to be able to help you guys. I tried to get my brother to come up here and do this with me, but he decided to stay in the back. That's fine. We'll just give him a hard time tomorrow when you see him,
So we're going to embarrass
okay?
him in front of everybody.
That's it. That's all that I have.
Well, what about tomorrow? Who's going to win? You're Mac Hammond and some guy named Brother Copeland.
Oh, right, that guy. My favorite person on planet Earth. Tomorrow, Mac Hammond and Kenneth Copeland will be here in the morning. You don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and our Victory Takeover will be starting at 8 a.m. In the morning. So if you want to get in early, come over there and watch the Victory Channel Takeover. Let me pray over before you leave. Father, we thank you for each and every person that's here tonight, Lord. We thank you for their obedience to come, Lord, and for blessing us and being here. Lord, we speak a great night of sleep over every single person in this room. They come back tomorrow rejuvenated and ready to hear the word of God and ready to kick the devil's butt. And we thank you for it, Lord, in Jesus' name. Amen. Remember, God loves you, we love you, and Jesus is Lord.
Every day more noise.